I want you to write this down. I read a book called Selling the Dream by a guy named Guy Kawasaki about that same time. Guy Kawasaki was the guy that sort of marketed Macintosh for Apple. Steve Wozniak's become a pretty good buddy of mine because I had him come speak to my coaching group. So I'm very, very familiar with what made Apple work. Only the greatest company in the history of mankind, right? Or most influential anyways. I'm very familiar with what made that company work. And what made it work is they had unbelievable technical people, but they had a dude that led that company who was a crazy man, like I'm a crazy man, named Steve Jobs. And Steve Jobs didn't have a high IQ. He wasn't an overly technical human being. He was an intense, psycho, crazy, and here's what he was great at doing. He was a great storyteller. If you're going to lead your company, if you're going to take it to the next level, you and your team had best be getting better at telling stories that move people. You're too much about the facts, you're too much about your scripts, you're too much about your presentation, you might even be too much about running numbers. You got to be able to tell a story that grips people emotionally, that shifts them, to create a movement. Are you with me on that? Say yes. You're like, what's that got to do with roofing and all this other stuff? It has everything to do with it. Everything to do with it is the story you tell and how you frame things that gets me to not only participate, but close now and refer you to people. So you think, well, that doesn't matter, we're doing well. You can always do better at this. Write this down. The greatest leaders are evangelical about their cause. They are cause-oriented leaders. They find a way to take an average, ordinary product and somehow build a movement and a cause around it by becoming evangelical about their cause. Evangelical about the money your people might be able to make, or evangelical about the difference you and your company make for families. To the extent you get good at becoming an evangelical leader is the extent that you'll be successful. I'll submit this to you because it's mainly men in here. To the extent that you'll be a great father, great leader of your home and your family, is to the extent that you can become evangelical about the cause and the mission your family's on. I'm constantly telling my children, we're going to do something awesome. Our family's special. Since my son was a little boy, every night he go to bed, you're a leader, you're a gladiator, you're the greatest of all time, Max. We're going to do something great as a family. I tell my daughter that all the time, right? Why? No one told me that crap when I was growing up. I had an alcoholic dad. No one told me. I just hope he came home and didn't get mad. So are you evangelical about your life, about your cause? When people get around you, maybe you're not loud. I'm not, just so you know, when I walk off this stage, I'm the most introverted person in this room. Ask anybody who knows me, if I'm at a party, I don't talk, I'm quiet. If we were at the mall, brother, and we went to high school together, and I saw you, I'd love to connect, but I'm so quiet and introverted, I'd duck into a store to hide so we don't have to connect. But I had to learn to be a storyteller. I had to learn to transfer energy, to express myself. And I'm not capable of talking about crap I don't believe. I wasn't raised that way. But if you get me believing it, you get me talking about my faith, my family, any New England sports team, and my companies, I will move you. I will move you emotionally because I'm an evangelist about my cause. So what do those leaders have in common? If we go back and look at there, what does Steve Jobs, Oprah Winfrey, my dumbass, Elon Musk, I use Rachel Hollis, and sweet Kris Jenner, who's my neighbor, what do we all have in common? How about this group? Andy Frisella. I purposely put him next to Mother Teresa because I think that's hilarious, right? If you know Andy, he's my business partner in one of my companies. Mark Zuckerberg, and this ain't a political statement. I don't like anything Facebook does. I just have him up there for that reason. MLK, who's my hero. Dwayne Johnson, not real happy with him lately either. And Martha Stewart. What do all those people have in common? In different ways, they became evangelical about their mission and their cause and their company. And that will be the separator for you. You want to build a great company, a great life, a great family, great wealth? I'm evangelical about all of it. All the time. That's a very specific word, by the way, evangelical. What do all they have in common? You got that. What's an evangelist do? A person who seeks to convert others, especially by public preaching, a zealous advocate of a cause. That's what an evangelist does. You must speak about these things, write about these things, post on your social media about it. When your people get around you, it's infectious and repetitive, and you don't tire of saying it over and over. I like when my guys roll their eyes at me. Here he goes again. This is the mission we're on. This is what we're going to do this year. And they're rolling their eyes, and I'm just putting it in their consciousness again and again and again because I'm relentless about it. Amen? Yes? Say yes. So, why? Because our obsessions become our possessions. You've heard this before, but if you really began to think about what you think about on a regular basis, most of you are thinking about what you're worried about, you're afraid of, and what you're concerned or anxious about. And you don't take control of your thoughts. You don't take control about what you're putting in your mind. I'm a decent example of making that shift. I do take control of it. And what I do when I know I'm having ones that don't serve me, I go, I'm intentional about it. When you're intentional about something, it loses its power over you. Once you're aware you're doing something, it can't affect you like it can when you're not aware. So I'm a negative thinker. I love to worry. I have this habit. Now I'm going to be overly cheesy with you because it's all dudes in here, but you have an emotional home. You have a series of emotions you live with regularly, don't you? Yes. Regardless of what the F is going on in your life, you find a way to get these emotions. Those emotions could be bliss, ecstasy, passion, joy, peace, faith, but they could also be worry, stress, anger, depression, frustration, concern, anxiety, aren't they? And you have a home, and you've had it most of your life, and it started when you were a little boy or a little girl. And because you've done it over and over and over again, even though you know they don't serve you, you will find a way on a very regular basis to get those damn emotions. You will. The quality of your emotions is going to be the quality of your life. And if you don't begin to become more intentional about the emotions, see, all of you this year wrote down a bunch of things you want to achieve. So did I. My outcomes for the year. I'm going to make this much money. I'm going to save this much money. We're going to help that many people. I've got a list of all my outcomes. You and I have gotten pretty good at achieving things we put our mind to, haven't we? You're getting pretty good at it. Maybe not last year, but some of you I've been talking to here told me you had your best year. But you're damn good at getting what you want, aren't you? Including the negative things. You're damn good at getting that stress emotion on you. Man, you will find a damn way to get that emotion. Now, since you're so good at getting what you want, what if you set, and I'm serious, what if you set an outcome to begin to achieve certain emotions on a regular basis? Because what you've done is you've deluded yourself into thinking, if I can get $5 million in the bank, or $10 million in the bank, or I get one of these houses Mylett has, or I get that hot so-and-so girl, or I get to this level of influence, then I'll have those emotions I want. That ain't how it works. Your subconscious and unconscious mind has done this millions of times. It's a map, and you will find a way, trust me. I was worth 30, 40, 50 million dollars. Still really not very happy person. I was worth 100 million, still not very happy. Married the girl of my dreams. Built my first mansion, built another mansion, still not very happy because I didn't get outcomes for emotions. I got outcomes for stuff. I want you to have a bunch of stuff, trust me. I want you to have a bunch of achievement. But if you start to become more intentional, I'm gonna find some peace every day. I'm gonna find some faith every day. I'm gonna find some solitude every day. You'll find that when you get those emotions, as good as you are, is you'll get more of the stuff. People are like, what happened to you? I went from 50 million to probably $500 million in 5 or 8 years. And the difference was, don't quote me on that, the difference was I started to get the quality of life I wanted, the quality of emotions I wanted. And you gotta get those, brothers. You're gonna lead your family, you're gonna lead your mom and dad, you're gonna lead your life, because you're not getting out of here alive. You ain't getting out of here alive. Why don't you start to be a little happier, a little bit more joyous, a little bit more giving, man. You'd be so happy you did. The fact is, the strongest men are the ones who are willing to be the most vulnerable, are the ones who are willing to give joy, give passion, give peace to people. Those are the strongest men in the world, right? Right? We've all been wired a little bit differently. In fact, you know what? I'm gonna cut the crap. I'm gonna get you emotional. Forget it. I'm gonna show this video, guys, in a minute. Let me say something to you. How many of you men in here, and women, but it's mainly men, how many of you have children? Raise your hand if you have children. Okay. I'll give you a secret. I think I'm the way I am because of what I watched my dad do. In other words, I'm not an alcoholic, but my dad was a dude who get angry pretty quick, get stressed pretty quick. So your life may look a whole lot different externally than the people that raised you. Maybe you even made a decision, I'm not gonna be like these people. And maybe the external part of your life's not like it. But what about the internal part? You getting all the joy? Let's be honest, don't answer me. Has it been all it's been cracked up to be to get where you are? Or didn't you think you'd feel better about yourself by the time you got here? You thought you'd feel better about yourself. The crazy thing about it is you could have given yourself the gift the whole time of feeling that way. And your kids, you know when you go to one of your kids' Little League games, there's 25 kids out there, 9 on each side plus the dugout. Which kid do you see? You see your little dude, don't you? You got a little kid, you go to their Christmas recital, there's 35 kids up there singing away. Somehow you look at yours the whole damn time, don't you? Except maybe the kid lip syncing in the weird, but you know what I'm talking about. Well, guess what? All they see is you, Dad. All they see is you. You may not realize it or not, but someday they're gonna figure out who you are. They love you because you're Dad, but at some point, are they proud of you? Do they respect you? Are you a man making a difference in the world? Those of you that don't have children but have parents or siblings, they know who the heck you are. You ladies here, mama, do they know who you are? Someday you figure out who you are. They figure it out, man. And you know what they want more than anything than you to be all this other stuff? Is dad happy? Is my dad happy? And they know when you're lying. They don't see anybody else. The whole prism of the world of what they think they can experience, you're providing them. And it's not the stuff, it's the emotions. It's the emotions they learn from you. They learn how to live. They learn their emotional home. And they know whether or not dad is happy. I want you to begin more conscious of this. You may be running out of time with it. In my case, they've left my house already. My son's gone. My daughter I got one more year with. But I'm showing them a version of me that's happier and more joyous and more giving in the quiet times.